The Garcia family, Mama Elena, Papa Ricardo, and their two bright children, Sofia and Miguel, arrived in America with hearts full of hope. They left their small village in Mexico, dreaming of a place where hard work meant a better life, especially for Sofia and Miguel. New York City buzzed around them, a whirlwind of tall buildings, yellow taxis, and a language they barely understood. Finding an apartment proved harder than they imagined. Landlords seemed impatient, and the few places they could afford were cramped and not very safe. They finally found a tiny apartment above a noisy laundry, the rumble of the machines vibrating through the floor at all hours. Papa Ricardo, a skilled carpenter back home, struggled to find work. His hands, so used to shaping wood, now felt clumsy and unsure as he filled out endless applications in English he didn't quite grasp. He took odd jobs, unloading trucks and cleaning floors, earning barely enough to keep the family fed. Mama Elena, a talented cook, missed her familiar kitchen and the fresh ingredients she used to create delicious meals. She tried to recreate some of her dishes, but the flavors never tasted quite the same. The children, Sofia and Miguel, felt lost in their new school. The other children spoke too fast, and the lessons were confusing. They missed their friends and the familiar games they used to play. Despite the challenges, the Garcias held on to their hope. They knew that with hard work and faith, they could build a better life in this new land. They just needed a little help to find their way. Their journey had just begun, and they were determined to face it together, as a family. One sweltering summer day, Papa Ricardo answered an ad for construction work. The foreman, a gruff man with a booming voice, hired him on the spot. Ricardo was overjoyed, picturing the extra money that would help them buy better food and maybe even some new shoes for the children. But his joy was short-lived. At the end of the week, when he went to collect his pay, the foreman handed him a fraction of what he was promised. When Ricardo protested, pointing to the long hours he had worked, the foreman just laughed. "You can't even speak English properly," he sneered. "Who are you going to complain to?" Ricardo felt a burning anger and frustration, but he knew he was powerless. He walked home with his head down, the small amount of money clutched tightly in his hand. Meanwhile, Mama Elena faced her own challenges. The landlord, a shifty-eyed man named Mr. Henderson, kept raising the rent without explanation. He knew the Garcias were new and didn't understand their rights. He would bang on their door at odd hours, demanding more money or making rude comments about their family. Elena felt scared and helpless, unsure of where to turn. At school, Sofia and Miguel struggled to keep up. The other children teased them for their accents and their old-fashioned clothes. They felt isolated and longed for the familiar faces and games they had left behind in Mexico. One day, Sofia came home with tears in her eyes. "I don't want to go back to school," she sobbed. "They call me names, and I don't understand anything." Elena hugged her daughter tightly, her own heart aching. She knew they needed help, and fast. The American dream was starting to feel like a distant and impossible fantasy. One rainy Saturday, Mama Elena, feeling utterly defeated, decided to take a walk. She needed to escape the cramped apartment and the constant worry. As she wandered through the unfamiliar streets, she stumbled upon a small, brightly colored building with a sign that read, "Community Center, a place for everyone." Hesitantly, she pushed open the door. Inside, she found a bustling room filled with people of all ages and backgrounds. Some were chatting, others were reading, and a few were gathered around tables learning English. A friendly woman with warm eyes smiled at her. "Hola! Welcome," she said. "Can I help you with anything?" Elena, surprised by the welcoming atmosphere, explained her family's struggles. The woman, whose name was Mrs. Rodriguez, listened patiently. "We can help," she said. "We offer free English classes, job training, and legal advice for immigrants. We also have programs for children." Elena's heart leaped with hope. She enrolled herself in the English classes and signed Sofia and Miguel up for after-school tutoring. Ricardo, initially hesitant, agreed to attend the job training sessions after Elena convinced him that it could lead to better opportunities. The community center became a lifeline for the Garcia family. They started to feel less alone and more connected to their new community. Sophia and Miguel began to thrive in their tutoring sessions, making friends with other immigrant children who understood their challenges. Ricardo learned new skills and gained confidence in his ability to find a good job. Elena's English improved rapidly, empowering her to communicate with landlords and shopkeepers without fear. The community center offered them not just practical help, but also a sense of belonging and support, reminding them that they weren't alone in their journey. A small glimmer of hope had returned, brighter than ever before. Mrs. Rodriguez, seeing the Garcia family's dedication and potential, felt compelled to do more. She remembered reading about President Kennedy's strong belief in helping immigrants and his commitment to creating opportunities for everyone, regardless of their background. She knew it was a long shot, but she decided to write a letter. In her small office, surrounded by stacks of paperwork, Mrs. Rodriguez carefully crafted a letter to a government official. She described the Garcia family's hard work, their struggles with language and unfair treatment, and their unwavering determination to build a better life in America. She highlighted Papa Ricardo's carpentry skills, Mama Elena's culinary talents, and Sophia and Miguel's eagerness to learn. She explained how the community center was helping them, but that they needed more support to truly thrive. She specifically mentioned President Kennedy's well-known compassion and his belief that America should be a beacon of hope for immigrants from all over the world. She wrote, "President Kennedy often speaks of the American dream, and the Garcia family embodies that dream. They are hardworking, honest, and eager to contribute to our society. With a little help, they can become valuable members of our community." Mrs. Rodriguez knew that the letter might get lost in the bureaucracy, but she felt it was her duty to try. She sealed the envelope, added a stamp, and walked to the nearest mailbox, hoping that her words would reach someone who could make a difference in the lives of the Garcia family. She imagined President Kennedy reading the letter and being moved by their story, just as she had been. It was a small act of kindness, but she hoped it would have a big impact. In the White House, President John F. Kennedy sat at his desk, a mountain of papers surrounding him. He believed deeply in the promise of America, a place where anyone, regardless of their background, could achieve their dreams through hard work and determination. He often spoke about the importance of welcoming immigrants and providing them with the opportunities they needed to succeed. Every day, a stack of letters from ordinary citizens landed on his desk. He made it a point to read as many as he could, wanting to stay connected to the hopes and fears of the American people. He read about families struggling to make ends meet, students dreaming of college, and veterans seeking a better life after serving their country. He felt a particular empathy for immigrants, remembering his own family's journey to America generations ago. He knew the challenges they faced, the language barriers, the cultural differences, the struggle to find work and build a new life. He believed that America had a responsibility to help them, to provide them with the tools and resources they needed to integrate into society and contribute to the nation's success. He often told his staff, "These letters are not just pieces of paper. They are stories of real people, with real dreams and real challenges. We must do everything we can to help them." He saw the letters as a direct connection to the people he served, a constant reminder of the importance of his work. He knew that even a small act of kindness from the government could make a huge difference in someone's life. He truly believed in the power of the American dream, and he was determined to make it a reality for everyone. Among the many letters that reached President Kennedy that week was Mrs. Rodriguez's heartfelt plea. The president, tired after a long day of meetings, almost skipped over it, but the words, Garcia family, and American dream, caught his eye. He settled back in his chair and began to read. As he read about Papa Ricardo's carpentry skills, Mama Elena's cooking, and Sophia and Miguel's struggles and hopes, he felt a connection to the Garcia family. He could picture them in his mind, a hard-working family striving to build a better life in a new land. He was particularly touched by Mrs. Rodriguez's description of their resilience and determination. He paused, rereading the part about Papa Ricardo being cheated out of his wages and Mama Elena being harassed by their landlord. He felt a surge of anger and injustice. He knew that these kinds of things happen all too often to immigrants, and he was determined to do something about it. He finished the letter, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. He knew that he couldn't personally help every immigrant family in America, but he could use his position to make a difference in the lives of those who needed it most. He picked up his phone and buzzed his secretary. "Get me someone from the Domestic Policy Council," he said. "I have a letter here about a family in New York that needs our help. I want someone to look into this right away." He carefully placed Mrs. Rodriguez's letter on top of the pile, a symbol of his commitment to making the American dream a reality for the Garcia family. He knew that this was just the first step, but he was determined to see it through. A few days later, Mrs. Rodriguez received an official-looking letter from the White House. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Inside, she found a brief but heartfelt message thanking her for bringing the Garcia family's situation to the president's attention. The letter stated that a representative from the White House would be visiting the community center to meet with the Garcia family and assess their needs. Mrs. Rodriguez could hardly contain her excitement. She immediately called Mama Elena, who was equally stunned and overjoyed. The news spread quickly through the community center, and everyone celebrated the Garcia family's good fortune. The following week, a sleek black car pulled up in front of the community center. A smartly dressed woman emerged, introducing herself as Ms. Thompson, a representative from the White House. She carried a briefcase and had a kind but serious demeanor. Ms. Thompson met with Mrs. Rodriguez and then sat down with the Garcia family. She listened attentively to their story, asking questions about their challenges, their hopes, and their dreams. She took detailed notes, promising to do everything she could to help them. The Garcia family was both nervous and hopeful. They couldn't believe that someone from the White House was actually interested in their lives. They poured out their hearts, sharing their struggles with language, employment, housing, and the challenges their children faced at school. They emphasized their willingness to work hard and contribute to their new community. They just needed a chance. Ms. Thompson assured them that President Kennedy was committed to helping families like theirs and that she would do everything in her power to make sure they received the support they needed. As she left, she smiled warmly and said, "This is just the beginning. Brighter days are ahead." True to her word, Ms. Thompson worked quickly. Within a week, changes began to happen for the Garcia family. First, she helped Papa Ricardo find a job at a reputable construction company that valued its workers and paid fair wages. The company even offered English classes to its employees, making it easier for Ricardo to communicate with his colleagues. He was overjoyed to be using his carpentry skills again and earning a decent living. Next, Ms. Thompson addressed the family's housing situation. She connected them with a local housing agency that helped them find a clean and safe apartment in a friendly neighborhood. The new apartment was much bigger than their previous one, with enough space for everyone to live comfortably. The landlord was kind and respectful, and the Garcias finally felt secure in their home. Sophia and Miguel were enrolled in a new school with a strong ESL, English as a Second Language, program. The teachers were patient and supportive, and the children quickly began to catch up with their classmates. They made new friends and started to feel more confident and happy at school. Ms. Thompson also helped Mama Elena start a small catering business. She connected her with local restaurants and businesses that were looking for authentic Mexican food. Elena's delicious homemade dishes became a hit, and her business quickly grew. She was finally able to use her culinary talents to earn a living and contribute to the family's income. The Garcia family was amazed by the speed and effectiveness of Ms. Thompson's help. They felt like a weight had been lifted from their shoulders, and they were finally able to focus on building a better future. The American dream, once a distant fantasy, was now within reach. Sophia and Miguel blossomed in their new school. They quickly learned English and excelled in their studies. Sophia discovered a love for reading, devouring books about American history and culture. Miguel showed a talent for math and science, dreaming of becoming an engineer. They made friends from all different backgrounds, learning about their cultures and sharing their own. They participated in school plays, joined the soccer team, and became active members of the student council. Papa Ricardo thrived in his new job. He was respected for his carpentry skills and his strong work ethic. He learned new techniques and took pride in his craftsmanship. He made friends with his coworkers, sharing stories about his family and his life in Mexico. He felt a sense of belonging and purpose that he had been missing for so long. Mama Elena's catering business took off. Her delicious tamales, enchiladas, and flan became popular throughout the city. She hired other immigrant women to help her, providing them with jobs and opportunities. She felt proud to be sharing her culture with others and contributing to the American economy. The Garcia family started to feel like they truly belonged in America. They celebrated American holidays, learned about American traditions, and embraced their new life. But they never forgot their roots. They continued to speak Spanish at home, cooked Mexican food, and shared stories about their homeland with their children. They were proud to be both Mexican and American, embracing the best of both worlds. They were finally living the American dream, a dream that had been made possible by the kindness of strangers and the support of President Kennedy. They knew they had a long way to go, but they were confident that they could achieve anything they set their minds to. One sunny morning, a formal invitation arrived at the Garcia's apartment. It was an invitation to visit the White House and meet President Kennedy. The family was stunned and overjoyed. They couldn't believe that they would actually get to meet the president who had helped them so much. They spent weeks preparing for the trip. Mama Elena sewed new outfits for everyone. Papa Ricardo practiced his English, wanting to be able to express his gratitude to the president. Sofia and Miguel studied American history, eager to learn more about the country they now called home. Finally, the day arrived. They boarded a train to Washington, D.C., their hearts filled with excitement and anticipation. As they approached the White House, they were awestruck by its grandeur and beauty. They felt a sense of pride and gratitude to be Americans. They were greeted by Ms. Thompson, who escorted them inside. They walked through the halls, admiring the portraits of past presidents and the elegant furnishings. They felt like they were stepping into history. Finally, they were led into the Oval Office. President Kennedy stood up from behind his desk and greeted them warmly. He shook hands with each member of the family, making them feel welcome and at ease. He told them how impressed he was by their hard work and their determination to succeed. He said that they were an inspiration to all Americans. The Garcia family felt incredibly honored and grateful for this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It was a moment they would never forget. During their brief meeting, President Kennedy spoke to the Garcia family about the importance of education, hard work, and civic engagement. He encouraged Sofia and Miguel to pursue their dreams and to use their talents to make a difference in the world. He told Papa Ricardo and Mama Elena that their hard work and dedication were an inspiration to all Americans. He emphasized the importance of becoming active citizens, voting in elections, and participating in their community. He said that America needed their talents and their voices. He also spoke about the importance of preserving their culture and sharing it with others. He said that America was a melting pot of cultures, and that each culture had something valuable to contribute. Before they left, President Kennedy presented each member of the family with a small gift. To Sofia and Miguel, he gave books about American history and biographies of inspiring Americans. To Papa Ricardo, he gave a small tool set, symbolizing his appreciation for his craftsmanship. To Mama Elena, he gave a cookbook filled with American recipes, encouraging her to continue sharing her culinary talents. He also gave them a framed photograph of himself, inscribed with the words, "To the Garcia family, with admiration and best wishes, John F. Kennedy." As they said goodbye, President Kennedy shook their hands warmly and said, "Remember, the American dream is within your reach. Never give up on your dreams, and always believe in yourselves." The Garcia family left the White House feeling inspired and empowered. They knew that they had a responsibility to make the most of the opportunities they had been given. They were determined to continue working hard, contributing to their community, and making President Kennedy proud. They knew that they were now part of the American story, and they were determined to make it a success. Years passed. Sofia and Miguel excelled in school, both graduating at the top of their class. Sophia went on to become a lawyer, dedicating her career to helping immigrants navigate the legal system. Miguel became an engineer, designing bridges and buildings that connected communities. Papa Ricardo's carpentry business flourished. He hired other immigrants, providing them with jobs and mentoring them in their craft. He became a respected member of the community, known for his skill and his generosity. Mama Elena's catering business expanded, becoming a popular restaurant that celebrated Mexican culture and cuisine. She used her success to support local charities and to help other immigrant entrepreneurs get their start. The Garcia family became American citizens, embracing their rights and responsibilities. They voted in every election, participated in community events, and volunteered their time to help others. They never forgot the challenges they had faced, and they were determined to make a difference in the lives of others. They kept the framed photograph of President Kennedy on their mantelpiece, a constant reminder of his kindness and his belief in them. They often told their story to their children and grandchildren, inspiring them to work hard, pursue their dreams, and never give up hope. The Garcia family's story became a symbol of the American dream, a testament to the power of hard work, determination, and the kindness of strangers. They proved that anyone, regardless of their background, can achieve their dreams in America with a little help and a lot of heart. They lived long and fulfilling lives, contributing to their community and making the world a better place. They were proud to be Americans, and they were grateful for the opportunities they had been given. And so, the Garcia family's story became a lasting tribute to President Kennedy's vision for America. It was a story that was told and retold, not just within the Garcia family, but also within the community center that had first given them hope, and even within the halls of government in Washington, D.C. Each year, on President Kennedy's birthday, the Garcia family would visit his memorial at Arlington National Cemetery. They would stand in silence, remembering his words of encouragement and his unwavering belief in the American dream. They would lay a wreath of flowers at the memorial, a symbol of their gratitude and their commitment to carrying on his legacy. Their story served as a powerful reminder that even the smallest act of kindness can have a profound impact on someone's life. It demonstrated that when people are given the opportunity to succeed, they can achieve great things and contribute to the betterment of society. The Garcia family's journey was a testament to the power of the American dream, a dream that President Kennedy had so passionately championed. It was a dream that was within reach for anyone who was willing to work hard, persevere through challenges, and believe in themselves. Their story also highlighted the importance of welcoming immigrants and providing them with the support they need to integrate into society and become active citizens. It showed that immigrants are not just a burden on society, but rather a valuable asset, bringing their talents, their cultures, and their dreams to enrich the American tapestry. The Garcias, and countless others like them, proved that with a little help, anything is possible. The legacy of John F. Kennedy lives on, not only in the grand monuments and historical records, but also in the countless individual stories of those whose lives he touched. The Garcia family's story is just one example of his profound impact on the lives of immigrants, and his unwavering commitment to making the American dream accessible to all. President Kennedy understood that America's strength lies in its diversity, and that immigrants bring valuable talents, cultures, and perspectives that enrich the nation. He believed that it was America's responsibility to welcome immigrants, to provide them with opportunities, and to help them integrate into society. His vision of an inclusive and welcoming America is as relevant today as it was during his presidency. As we face new challenges and opportunities in the 21st century, it is important to remember his words of encouragement and his belief in the power of the American dream. The Garcia family's story reminds us that even the smallest act of kindness can have a ripple effect, transforming lives and communities. It inspires us to reach out to those in need, to offer a helping hand, and to believe in the potential of every individual. Let us honor President Kennedy's legacy by continuing to build a society where everyone has the opportunity to succeed, regardless of their background or their circumstances. Let us strive to create an America where the American dream is not just a distant promise, but a tangible reality for all. Let us remember the Garcia family, and countless others like them, who have shown us that with hard work, determination, and a little bit of hope, anything is possible. The American dream is alive, and it is for everyone.